Trojans go. LBC pouring Cardinal and gold. The next man up is the next Heisman. Only bleed USC. Yes, we've been built to win. Catch roses while we ball all across the map.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me for another episode. They say a dynasty is a series of leaders or rulers in the same family. Generational power. Yet in today's world of collegiate sports, dynasties are synonymous with championships. We're talking about proven results on the field and not just quick wins off the field and in the national media. College football fanatics define a dynasty or ruler, if you will, usually one of three ways. First, by geographical location. Second, by college football era. Or third, the number of national championships won by a particular football team, whether valid or not. Mixing the fact that college football, for much of its glorious and dubious history, has relied on polls by coaches, sports writers, and even computers. Hello, Watson, to compute and anoint the King of Kings. Thankfully, we're at the cusp of a new college football playoff era. It only took FBS college football nearly 145 years to figure that one out. Hey, what year did Varsity Blues come out? Imagine that. One thing all college football fans can agree on, well, maybe all college football fans, I'm looking at you, Oregon. You have to win at least one championship for the college football world to even recognize your family. And even that isn't enough. You need to do it over and over again for decades, and that isn't easy. Otherwise, you're just window dressing and a footnote in college football history, slowly forgotten over time. But hey, at best you may get a 30 for 30 segment you can watch over and over again to relive the glory days of your short-term success. Speaking of time, time seems to stand still each New Year's Day afternoon in the Arroyo Seco, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, the site where some dynasties rose like the new year and some empires faded like the sun behind the San Gabriels. Time stood still for Alabama and Nick Saban on that 4th and goal until it didn't. Earlier this month, Michigan won its first national championship in 26 years, ironically at the Rose Bowl. 8 days later, college football's granddaddy, Nick Saban, walked away, leaving Alabama searching for answers and college football looking to crown its next dynasty. Before we get to the next dynasty, hold on a second, Georgia fans. Let's talk about the previous dynasty. Yeah, Pete Carroll's USC Trojans, whose most recent dynasty emerged with a victory over Michigan in the 2004 Rose Bowl. The Trojans' national championship, as voted by the AP poll, was split with Nick Saban's LSU teams, winners of the BCS championship. I'm not going to rehash history in this video. I'll leave that for another video. By the way, as a diehard Trojan, I appreciate you checking out the channel and today's video. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your college football friends, and turn on the bell notification to know when I drop a new video. Totally appreciate it. What I'm going to mention is Pete Carroll and Nick Saban's paths crossed in 2003, much like they did after the 1980 Rose Bowl, after John Robinson's USC Trojan beat Ohio State 17-16 in a game for the ages. Pete Carroll was a defensive back coach on Earl Bruce's staff and left after the 1979 season to be replaced by none other than Nick Saban. Pete later would come to USC as a two-time fired NFL head coach. That was USC's 4th or 5th choice. Many fans didn't like the hire, including yours truly. He quickly surveyed the college football landscape and understood USC, its history, tradition, and ability to win championships again. He saw John McKay and John Robinson do it 5 times in the Bear Bryant era. John McKay and John Robinson each going down to Birmingham and beating Alabama 2 times in the span of 8 years. That's no small feat. Consider this, SEC conference foe, Georgia's legendary coach, Vince Dooley, in the 19 years he coached against Bear Bryant, was 0-3 versus Bear in Birmingham. You may ask, why did Georgia only play Alabama 3 times on the road in 19 years? That's another good question, and that's for another video. Stay tuned. Pete Carroll soon owned college football and LA, beating teams any place, anywhere, and any time in the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, and of course, playing rival Notre Dame each and every year. In the 9 years from 2001 to 2009, USC's record was 97-19, with 2 national championships, 7 Pac-10 championships, 3 Heisman winners in Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, and Reggie Bush, 6-1 in the BCS Bowls, and a 34-game winning streak. Oh yeah, there was that one BCS loss that ended the streak. 4th and 2 at the Texas 45, with 2:13 left in the game. Convert the first down, game over. Didn't happen that way. Texas stopped USC on that 4th down play, and then it was all Vince Young. Mac Brown and Texas took down the Trojans in a come-from-behind fashion, 41-38 in one of the greatest games of all time. And you guessed it, in the Rose Bowl. Was it Texas's time for the next dynasty? More changes were coming to college football. Nick Saban, after 2 forgettable years with the NFL Miami Dolphins, returned to college football in 2007 to coach the Alabama Crimson Tide. And ESPN, flush with cash at the time, signed a 15-year, $2.5 billion record television deal with the SEC in August of 2008. Saban, in his 3rd year with the Tide, ended up in the Rose Bowl to face Mac Brown in Texas in the 2009 BCS championship game. Would Mac Brown and Texas win its 2nd BCS championship in 5 years? Or would Nick Saban turn around the Tide and win its 1st national championship in 17 years since Gene Stallings did it in 1992? Alabama rolled Texas 37-21, and Texas was never the same. Mac Brown resigned after the 2013 season, going just 30-21 after that BCS championship game versus Saban. Bama continued its roll, going 49-7 in the same next 4-year period, winning 2 more BCS national championships in 2011 and 2012, making that 3 in 4 years for those of you scoring at home. Another dynasty rose in the Arroyo Seco, and Pete Carroll left for the NFL Seattle Seahawks just 10 days after Nick Saban defeated Mac Brown in Texas. You see how that works? One dynasty enters the college football ring, while another one exits. Just happened again, most recently, with Pete Carroll and Nick Saban leaving Seattle and Tuscaloosa on the same day, just 15 years after that 2009 BCS National Championship game. Some may question the validity of USC's dynasty under Pete Carroll. Those that do fall into one of these 3 categories. 1, a basic lack of college football knowledge. 2, a believer in the NCAA's bogus investigation and unprecedented sanctions levied against USC. Or 3, have a genuine hatred for USC. And that's okay, because that's college football. Which one are you? Please let me know in the comments. I'm obviously a Trojan diehard and believer USC's next dynasty is on its way. Sure as water's wet and the day is long. I'll leave you with this. Sooner fans might not believe 55-19 ever happened because the NCAA tells us so. The NCAA and the Heisman Trust may tell you Reggie Bush never happened because that's what they tell you. But this is what I know. Back on that glorious night at the Orange Bowl in January 2005, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, and Ed Orgeron were all on that USC sideline coaching under Pete Carroll. All 3 have or will be head coaches in the SEC. With Coach O winning the 2019 National Championship at LSU, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss winning a record 11 games last year for the first time in Ole Miss football history, and has the Rebels poised at making a run in next year's new 12-team college football playoff. And Steve Sarkisian, head coach at Texas, who will be going to the SEC next year, who went into Tuscaloosa and beat Nick Saban on his way to making last year's college football playoff. And I don't need to tell you that Kiffin and Sark were also assistants under Nick Saban because you probably already knew that. Yeah, try telling me USC wasn't a dynasty. If it's not, let me know how you define a dynasty down in the comments section. Now let me get back to Georgia fans. You're not handed the next dynasty now that Nick Saban has retired. Kirby Smart is 1-5 all-time versus Nick Saban. Georgia won their 2021 national championship without playing Alabama, much like they did in 1980 when Georgia and Herschel Walker We're lucky the SEC didn't put defending 1979 national champion Alabama on the Bulldogs schedule. Now, it's quite possible Georgia will earn its first dynasty in school history in the near future, and that starts on October 9th, going to Texas and beating a Sark-coached Texas team who is 1-1 versus Saban in the last 2 years. You see how that works? And that's why USC is on its way to another dynasty right now. It's had 3 dynasties under Howard Jones, John McKay and John Robinson, and Pete Carroll, and is poised for a 4th under Lincoln Riley. And here are the 5 simple reasons why. 1, university leadership alignment. Not in the last several decades has there ever been a time at USC when there's been complete alignment from president to the board of trustees to the athletic director to the football head coach, all working together at the goal of winning national championships. 2, competing in the Big Ten Conference, translating to wins financially, more visibility in nationally televised games, and playing in a more competitive football conference. 3, Lincoln Riley's partnered with AD Jen Cohen to assemble a new defensive coaching staff, including 4 new hires, outstanding at identifying and developing defensive players, establishing a defensive identity critical for success in the Big Ten Conference. 4, NIL. Jen Cohen will continue working to build USC's NIL the right way. The NCAA is looking at you, Florida State and Florida. They could be looking at Miami, Texas A&M, and others in the near future. We know the NCAA will continue to overlook Nike U like they have had for the last several years. If it hasn't happened by now, it won't happen anytime soon. NIL is the variable to USC's and every other team's success, building and retaining a championship roster in this new era of college football. And 5, the new 12-team playoff will most certainly give the Big Ten the possibility of qualifying 3 to 4 teams annually with a shot at winning a national championship. For all these reasons, I see USC winning a national championship in the next 5 years, with or without Lincoln Riley. Let me know what you think. How many more years until USC wins its next national championship and starts another dynasty? This is LBC Trojan. Fight on.
Go Trojans go. LBC pouring cardinal and gold. The next man up is the next Heisman. Only bleed USC. Yes, we've been built to win. Catch roses while we ball all across the map. Too strong, fight on. It's Trojan talk on tap.